Hi there, a warm welcome to you. Can you hear me, viewers? Thank you for responding in positive. Thanks for joining the live chat. Let me welcome the participants first. Yakub joined. Welcome, Yakub. First viewer who commented. Wandi Magagne here. HK joined. HK says, is there war in Tigray? Not right now. Nasir Hassan here. Welcome, Nasir. Sahle, first member who joined tonight's live chat is Sahle. Good to see you, Sahle. Brian Ibsa is second member. Good to see you, Brian Ibsa, as well. Gudaif TV says Ethiopian issue is pocket change compared to Iran, USA. Yeah, definitely. What is happening in the Middle East has global implications. Masfin K join. Tekle Goetom here. Ilyas Estefanos joined. Uh, Kibro joined. Rufail here. Isaias Ababe here. Dima, HK, Madsen Tube. Gudaif has to cancel his much anticipated Doha trip. Well, you should not visit Doha now. Rita Temascan says, why all terrorist groups raise from Muslim countries, mister? What a nonsensical comment, by the way. And Rita is known for writing such comments just to show that what type of mentality he has. Let's not be biased against anyone. Let's not be biased against any religion, against any country, against any race, because we become tools of spreading extremism when we give such uh, generalized statements. Actually, we're promoting extremism. Accept others, understand others, don't generalize, because then you actually become tools of terrorists and extremists by taking positions in support of them or against them. Try to understand and try to analyze all the things in the right context. What terrorism is always used by countries for their interests. I mean, what is happening in Ethiopia? A few years ago, Tigray fighters were terrorists. Why was TPLF banned? In 2021, if you remember, Ethiopian parliament declared TPLF and Ola terrorist organizations. Do you remember, Rita? If you want to talk logically, though some people don't want to talk logically, they just want to confuse others. Ethiopian parliament declared Ola and TPLF terrorists. in 2021. And then those terrorists were engaged, talks were held, they had joint meals, they hugged each other, they met, and they then signed peace deals, they became brothers. You saw that. So, yesterday's terrorists, today's brothers, and tomorrow they might again be terrorists. These words are used for political purposes by countries. Terrorism, extremism are not specific to any country, any religion, any race, any ethnicity. Don't be a tool of spreading such hateful narratives. Today, Fano fighters are being called extremists, anti Ethiopia, traitors, bandas. Tomorrow they could be in power, and PP and Fano could be sitting at the same table. This is how these words are used to influence your minds. Don't uh, allow yourself to be taken for granted by people, by leaders, by those who make narratives. Two topics into Right's live chat. Rita diverted me. I was welcoming uh, the participants. Zoot is in a hurry. You should watch the recorded version. Zoot, you can leave if you're in so much hurry. Let me greet people. You can watch recorded version. Dima here. Yosedek joined. Welcome, Yosedek. Michael Hapto joined. Welcome, Michael. Alex T here. Welcome, Alex. Philly joined. Kananyu here. Welcome, Kananyu. Admaso joined. Elim Abraham here. Aman Bench joined. Tisfai here. YouTube Mikias. Likisa Dabisa joined. Betham Gobe joined, a member. Welcome, Betham. The Sky Walker here. Stop playing joined. We are anonymous. Pajit Microwave. Muhammad Ali. Israel Jemane. Mehari Tisfaldet. Thank you for joining. Thanks to all of you. Mindfulness joined after gap of a few days. Are you mindfulness? Ethio here. Neti Hele joined. Metikko Dima. I'm seeing several viewers tonight who have been missing from live chat recently. So warm welcome to all of you. Ethiopia, two dangerous statements came in the last 24 hours, which I want to share with you. Secondly, Iran US conflict, where all major American military bases in the Middle East have been destroyed. I have compiled a list for you. I want to share details with you. And secondly, a deadly attack by Israel in Iran 4 hours ago. We'll talk about that too. Should we cover Ethiopia first or Israel US Iran war? What do you say? Gold trader here. Ethiopia first. Okay. Thank you, Saleh, for buying the super chat sticker. Thanks a lot. Ethiopia first. Two dangerous statements. For me, they are dangerous. I want to share that with you. Izzedin here. Welcome, Izzedin. He's also a member. LM joined. LM is also a member. Good to see you, LM. Well, majority of you say Ethiopia first. So let's talk about Ethiopia first. You know that on the 2nd of March, Monday, Adwa Victory Day was celebrated. And on that day, you saw the president of Ethiopia deliver a speech. Jula delivered a speech to both used both delivered strong speeches in support of sea access. Jula went to the extent of waging war on internal groups in that speech. There was a third speech as well, less covered, but that speech is indicative of the war rhetoric being launched, being pursued by ruling party leaders. Adanech Ababe, Addis Ababa mayor, delivered a speech during Adwa Victory Day celebrations. She did not mince matters. She did not pull any punches. Without mincing matters, she clearly said, addressing the people in Addis Ababa, she said, if Assab is not returned to us peacefully, you should know that we are the children of Adwa. We'll show you that we are the children's. We're the children. We are the heirs of Adwa. Secondly, she said, all youths should prepare. So it cannot be clearer and more direct than this. She openly said that if Eritrea does not return Assab to Ethiopia, Ethiopia will wage war. Taske Selassie talked about sea access. He did not talk about Assab directly. Jula did not make a mention of Assab. He said he talked about sea access. Adanich Ababe mentioned Assab directly. First statement, dangerous statement showing that all Ethiopian federal government officials are being convinced, they are convinced, in fact, that they need to take Assab by hook or by crook. And for that, Eritrea must make a compromise. Otherwise, Eritrea will suffer and Ethiopia won't hesitate from waging war on Eritrea. That's what she said. It's clear from her statement. Second development happened when Emmanuel Assafa, deputy chairman of Tigray People Liberation Front and deputy president of Tigray, gave an interview. And Emmanuel Assafa clearly said that Tigray won't allow federal forces to enter Tigray. He said if federal forces want to enter Tigray to secure border, Ethiopia-Eritrea border, Tigray-Eritrea border, Tigray won't allow that because that could be start of another genocide of Tigrayans. So it is unacceptable. He ruled out the possibility of entry of Ethiopian National Defense Force troops in Tigray, whether to secure border with Eritrea or to be deployed in Tigray. And he clearly said that if federal government wants to avert a war, it should solve the issue of disputed territories. It should return Volkite. It should return Humera Volka Sagede to Tigray. If federal government is really interested in peace. So basically, Emmanuel Essefa said that if Humera Volca Sagede zones don't become part of Tigray, war will happen. Adanich Ababe said if Assad is not returned to Ethiopia, war will happen. Indirectly, she meant that. Aman Asifa said that if Humera Volca Sagade is not returned to Tigray, war will happen. And only way to avert a war is that these zones should return to Tigray's administration. Very dangerous statements, both of them, showing that the parties, Ethiopian parties to the conflict, are convinced about their positions, not ready to make compromise, just waiting for the right time to fire the first shot. Emmanuel again claimed, said that federal government wanted us to fight against Fano. We refused. We did not fight against Fano because we don't want to fight our Amhara brothers. Fano, by the way, was a genocidal force for Tigray fighters during Tigray war. Just a few words. Rita, you were saying terrorism is specific to one religion and one religion, but what was being said about Fano by Tigray People Liberation Front in 2021? They were calling Fano fighters animal, savages, involved in genocide. Gitacho called Abiy genocider. Then everything changed. Now Fano is TPLF's ally. All the crimes, alleged crimes committed by Fano now have been covered. All the genocide committed by Abiy, alleged genocide committed by Abiy now is being defended by Gitacho Reda. So these words are used for political purposes by people in power. Don't believe, don't let yourself be taken for granted, question them. So these are two developments showing that the parties to conflict in Ethiopia are sticking to their positions, no compromise so far. Thank you, Samson Jerome, for buying the super chat sticker. Samson says, Sajid, if UAE and Israel are tied up in a wider war, who backs Ethiopia if Red Sea tensions rise? Would Ethiopia be strategically exposed without their supporter, without their support? Yeah, I got your point. You're saying that if conflict in the Middle East goes on, it could be a bad news for Ethiopia. Ethiopia will be in a weaker position. Yes, you're right. You are definitely right. Maybe that is why the war in the Horn of Africa has been delayed. Why it was delayed? Because of diplomatic intervention. You saw that Erdogan visited Ethiopia. Samson says, Sajid, if Iran grows stronger after the strike and can hit Hormuz, GCC oil, water, Bahrain, and shake global markets while drawing in major powers, isn't this good? Isn't this beyond regional war and risking World War III? Well, I'll come to that after just a few minutes because I have all the details for you from today about the war in the Middle East. But your point, let me respond to your point about Ethiopian support from the Middle East. Yes, if Israel UAE conflict goes on, I mean, Iran UAE conflict goes on, Iran's attacks on UAE go on, that will definitely not be good for Ethiopia. War in Ethiopia has been delayed. Why? Because of diplomatic intervention. Erdogan came, Faisal bin Farhan came, international community issued statements. TPLF wrote letters to AU, to UN, Secretary General, and now war has begun. The war it was supposed to be between Iran and Israel, Iran and US. It has turned into a regional war. UAE is one of the parties suffering a lot in this war. Abiy will have to think twice. Definitely, he'll have to think twice now before waging war because UAE is running out of ammunition. It needs more munitions. Perhaps it would request Ethiopia to send munitions for UAE's air defense systems if Ethiopia has those types of munitions. If war goes on, I don't think that Abiy will now be told by UAE to invade Eritrea. Maybe after the dust settles, there could be backing for Abiy. Maybe UAE's now Sudan front will be led by Abiy. UAE perhaps won't be able to lead this front now as actively as it has been leading. Perhaps now Abiy will have to take the responsibility and take UAE's place in Sudan. That could happen, keeping in view the UAE's constraints at home in the Middle East. Okay, now important updates for you from the Middle East. Uh, how many military bases were being operated by the US in the Middle East? 18 or 19 military bases, naval and other, were being operated by the US in the Middle East before the start of Iran US war. The major naval base is in Bahrain, and the major military base, non-naval, is based in Qatar. Al Ubaid is the name of uh, the military base in Qatar, one of the largest in the Middle East. These two bases are the most important for the US in the Middle East. Al Ubaid in Qatar and the one in Bahrain. Three bases are located in Kuwait, Bahrain, Al Salam, Arif Jan. One base is in UAE, Al Dafra military base. One is in Saudi Arabia, Prince Sultan base. One is in Jordan, Muwafiq, Salti, and there is Arbil base in Iraq. US operated Ainul Assad as well in Iraq, but I think that was vacated by the US. There are around 18, there were around 18 functional US military bases in the Middle East. And in the last, thank you, Izzeddin, for buying the super sticker. All 18 bases have been hit by Iran in the last 72 hours. I think there is nothing secret about it. Videos, pictures coming in. US naval base in Bahrain has been leveled. US base in Qatar has suffered serious losses. Ababe says, Abele says, hit or destroyed? Yeah, very important question. Hit or destroyed? My question is, are they usable or not? Is any one of them functional or not? What I have learned is that almost all of them are non functional now. Whether they have been leveled, fully destroyed, or just hit, they are not operational now. US militaries and navies harbor installations in coastal areas have been badly hit, and now US is using Indian ports reportedly. US Navy is using Indian ports. American aircraft carriers have been removed from the proximity of Iran, placed at a distance now from Iran, keeping in view that Iran could hit them as well. This is what has happened to the US military, US Navy in the last 72 hours. But international media is not showing this side of the war. So there is no doubt that US has suffered losses in the Middle East, which were not being expected. It was being expected that US and Israel would just conduct corporate bombing of Iran. Iran won't be able to fight back. But Chinese satellite support, Russian satellite support, intelligence support by Russia and China for Iran, and deliveries of weapons from Russia and China to Iran before the start of war strengthened Iran. Russia wants to settle its score with US. US is backing Ukraine. China settling score as well indirectly because US arms Taiwan. Iran is no doubt inflicting heavy losses on the US military, which were not expected, firstly. But it does not mean that Iran is suffering no losses. No. They are ready to suffer losses. They're ready to die. When people say they're ready to die, so you can just kill them. You cannot make them kneel down. You can kill them. They say, we're ready to fight, we're ready to die. So for each position, they have appointed three successors. For example, if there is one military chief in Iran, they have appointed three successors. If chief is killed, the second one ready. Second one killed, third one ready. Third one killed, fourth one ready. This is the type of hierarchy they have organized. They are suffering losses. And today we saw that Israel conducted another strike based on intelligence, which must have been very painful for Iran. You know, that assembly of experts meeting has been hit in Qom, Iran. This assembly of experts was supposed to elect new supreme leader in Iran. 88 religious leaders generally meet to elect the new supreme leader. And they were meeting in Qom. The assembly which was meeting is called Assembly of Experts. Israeli sources say that they just leveled the building where Assembly of Experts meeting was underway and voting was underway. How many religious leaders were killed today? We don't know. In coming hours, things will come out. Israel claims that majority of 84 religious leaders who were there, they have been killed. So Iranians are dying. Their ports being hit, their vessels being hit, their missile launching sites being hit, their nuclear sites being hit. They are ready They have decided there is no red line for them now. They're hitting UAE's oil assets. They're hitting Saudi oil refineries. They are hitting Qatari LNG infrastructure. They're blocking State of Hormuz. They're not allowing UAE and Saudi Arabia to take alternative routes to export oil. Whatever they can, they are doing to tell the world, to tell the US that if Iran goes down, Iran won't be alone. The region will go down. And so far, I think they have sent their message very, very clearly. These Middle Eastern countries can join the war. We were asked a question about Qatar. Has Qatar joined the war or not? Maybe it is being said that Qatar uh, did some airstrikes in Iran, but their joining the war does not matter. Does Qatar have more advanced weapons than Israel? Does UAE have more advanced missiles than the US? Whether they join or not, it's not relevant. It's not dangerous for Iran. Iran is teaching them a lesson, telling them that you let your soil to be used by US. Now you will pay the price. Interestingly, UK backing off, though its base is being used by Americans, but UK is not actively involved. Spain backing off, Middle Eastern countries, Muslim countries, Iranian neighbors are involved in the war because there are US military bases. Either they'll have to say no to the US, or they'll have to say that we're not part of the war, but our bases are being used, and we will try to ensure that our soil is not used by Americans. They cannot say that to Americans. Overall, Iranian narrative is winning. Trump is making a mockery of himself. 2 days ago, he said Iran is calling for negotiations. Iran has been taught a lesson after Supreme Leader's death. Iran has learned the lesson and they want to negotiate. I'm ready for that. What happened after that? Iranian foreign minister said, no, we don't want to talk. And today Trump said, Iran wants to talk, but it's too late now. Trump is making a mockery of himself as if he is the smartest leader on the earth, and he's trying to deceive everyone. Iran is saying from day one that it does not want to talk to the US. It wants to take revenge for the death of Ayatollah Khamenei and other leaders. So this is the situation. Iran is inflicting losses which were not expected. Question is, how long can Iran go on? Which allies will join Iran? Hezbollah has joined. Houthis silent, but I think they're waiting for the right time. Once Iran gives the go ahead, they will fight, they will fire missiles. Islamic resistance in Iraq has joined. Israel launched ground forces in Lebanon today, so a new front has been opened. That's what Iran wants. It wants Israel, US to fight on multiple fronts. Overall, a war is expanding, and US and Israel are learning that Iran is not a soft prey for them. If Iran goes down, the region could go down as well. Medicine tube, Houthis are with Iran. They are waiting for the right time. I think they'll join. Hezbollah has joined. Groups in Iraq have joined. Houthis will join too, but uh, I don't think that I don't think they have any issues with Iran, but they're waiting for the right time, I think. Samael said, this is China's war, not Iran's. Well, for decades, US has been interfering in Chinese neighborhood. Who backs South Korea? US. Who backs Taiwan? US. Now, Middle East is not US backyard, but US is now heavily involved here. That is why this is the time for China and Russia to settle some scores, which they are doing indirectly. How about Taliban? Someone is saying, uh, Samson says, with GCC relying on 50 to 90% desalinated water, importing 80-90% of its food and bordering a choke point carrying 20% of global oil trade, and with most foreigners able to live. Sorry, yeah, yeah. Can you hear me? For how long has the voice been mute? I was reading a comment by Samson Jerome. He explained a lot about the situation on the ground, the facts about the dependence of Middle Eastern countries on food from abroad, on desalinated water, and on their oil exports. And I said that, yes, this is what ground reality is. It means that maybe uh, Iran won't call for ceasefire. UAE will do. Saudi Arabia will do. Iraq will do. Kuwait will do, because it will be difficult for them to go on economically if this war goes on. By the way, years, decades of hard work building infrastructure can be wasted in just a few hours. Just a few hours. That's what is happening in the UAE. And when I tell the people that you quote Abi's statements about progress in Addis Ababa, please spend on people. Please build institutions. People start calling me anti-prosperity party. This is Sajid. You are an enemy of Ethiopia. Uh, Addis Ababa has been transformed. You don't want to see Ethiopia prosper. That is why you criticize Abiy, who's doing a wonderful job in Addis Ababa. I've been saying for years, infrastructural development is not a manifestation of stability. it's not a manifestation of true progress. If conflicts remain unsolved, years, decades of infrastructure development can be ruined in just a few hours. And that's what is happening in UAE. By the way, Iran UAE conflict is not a direct war. No. Still, UAE is facing a challenge. So, what is needed in Ethiopia is conflict resolution. Otherwise, no matter how tall you make buildings, how big roads you make, this progress will be in danger. One conflict spanning a few months will push Ethiopia several years back. Casa says, kidding me, all US bases destroyed. Yeah, Casa, watch me from the start. If you want to understand, I explained in detail the names of the places. Now, most of the bases have been visually confirmed to have been destroyed. Visually confirmed. Satellite images there. User says, Sajid, what about nukes? Will the US use them? No, no, no. No possibility. No possibility. No possibility. By the way, what I have learned is just a quick comment about Pakistan Afghanistan war. So many people ask questions about it. There is no real war between the two parties. Pakistan and Afghanistan, just no match. Afghanistan has no air force. It is a few drones. Pakistan, shot down Indian fighter jets during a clash last year. Pakistan Afghanistan clash is basically a border clash, not more than that. Pakistan is hitting targets using its air force in Afghanistan. And by the way, Afghanistan announced its support for Iran a few weeks ago, before the start of Iran US war. Now, Afghanistan not in a position to support Iran because it is fighting Pakistan, a limited border clash, I would say. Not more than that. It's not a regional issue. It's not a bilateral issue too. I mean, everything is like normal in Pakistan. In Afghanistan too, some spots hit. The Afghanistan Pakistan issue is a different issue. There are Uzbeks, Tajiks, Pashtuns in Afghanistan. Pakistan, India have their proxies in Afghanistan. Pakistan backs Pashtuns. India and others, they back Tajiks and Uzbeks. Pashtuns and others have been fighting in Afghanistan for years. India wants government of its choice in Afghanistan. Pakistan wants government of its choice in Afghanistan. So it's a proxy conflict with Pakistan and India, with Pakistan and other players. But it's not a conflict which can envelop the region because there is disproportion between Pakistan and Afghanistan military power. But Afghanistan is not in a position to support Iran because of Pakistan Afghanistan border clashes. Solomon says, can Abiy use this busy time of the USA to start this war? No, I think that keeping in view what is happening to the UAE at the hands of Iran, Abiy perhaps won't make the big decision of waging war. Had UAE not been involved in the war, Abiy might have entertained the idea of invading Eritrea, but now Abiy's main ally is in trouble. And maybe Abiy's main ally will need Abiy's support in some form. I don't think Abiy will wage war on Eritrea. Now, war has been delayed, we can say, in northern Ethiopia, especially between Ethiopia and Eritrea. Samael says Iraq was US ally, not Iran. Well, if you go back a little, you know that Iran and Iraq fought for years. Do you remember that? When Iraq has the strongest military in the Middle East, by the way, in the past, when Saddam Hussein was in power. And Iraq Iran war went on for around a decade, I think. For 8 years, someone is writing. Who backed Iran back then? You know that back then, Iran got support from Israel, from US. So Iran, but you cannot deny facts. Iran was backed by Israel. Why? Because back then target was Iraq. Israel saw Iraq as a major threat. Saddam Hussein had more than 500,000 soldiers. Indirectly, Iran got support from Israel. Iran Iraq war went on, then they reached a ceasefire, and then Iraq was urged by some countries, especially Westerners, to attack Kuwait. And uh, Iraq was strong militarily back then. It invaded Kuwait. And then you saw what happened. Americans intervened. Iraq, its military disbanded. Saddam Hussein arrested. And after that, you saw that Syria, strong country, also saw internal war. Libya before that, Libya was a strong country. Gaddafi was very strong. And now Iran is strong. So Iran is the one paying the price now. But Iran will have to revisit its past foreign policy. Betham says, Sajid, what is your thought on Tigray man Solomon Waldegirma became a higher level of AFNF Fano commander and he's in Makale. Yeah, I know about Solomon. Solomon, I remember, used to be very critical of TPLF in his posts, in his messages. He criticized TPLF a lot. He has joined Fano, so he's a Tigrayan who is part of Fano, and has been seen in Makale too, showing engagement between Fano and TPLF leaders. So he can represent Fano now to talk to TPLF. But not just Solomon, Zubin Akasi, other Fano leaders, Fano commanders, they have been talking to Tigray leaders. And their alliance is not a secret now. I could not do a video about Solomon because of Iran-US war. But yes, Solomon has joined Fano and he's giving interviews confirming his joining of Fano. Escol says Sajid, Ethiopia needs to revisit who they buy air defense from. Iran and Venezuela. Air defense systems were non-existent. Russia defense. Well, a peace and love, John. Welcome, peace and love. I think that you need to rely on more than one technologies. If you ask me, so if a country relies on Western technology can be jammed by Western countries. So they need to have alternatives too. And if you're relying totally on a Chinese technology, then China will blackmail you. So you need to have your weapon sources from different global players. So I think any country, not just Ethiopia, should have Western weapons too, Russian weapons too, Chinese weapons too, and they should know how to integrate them properly. Welcome, Samuel. Good to see you. Yeah, Samael, US backed Saddam, and the same US then put an end to Saddam's rule. Why is the airspace of Iran open this month? This month? Samael is saying huge explosions in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Well, Dubai is suffering. UAE is really suffering. It was 53 minutes have passed. I think we should end the live chat. This war in the Middle East is helping us learn a lot about the region, about global politics, about real, and people are very interested. By the way, I have seen their comments in comment section. They want to know what is happening in Ethiopia, but they want to know what is happening in the Middle East too, because things are linked. What is happening in Middle East is going to have direct impact on security, economic situation in the Horn of Africa. I'm again saying Ethiopia Eritrea war has been delayed. Ethiopia won't attack Eritrea now, it seems, until there is some ceasefire or ceasefire like situation in the Middle East. So, from Ethiopian side, there won't be any attack. That's my analysis. What will Eritrea do? Will it also wait for the right time? What will TPLF do? That remains to be seen. Abiy is not in a position to wage war on Eritrea. I'm talking about Eritrea, not about TPLF. Abiy won't attack Eritrea now. He will have to wait. Thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. Stay blessed. Bye bye.